Packing assembly procedure for valves and rotating equipment. Objective. The objective of this procedure is to illustrate and standardize the steps for proper installation of valve and rotating equipment packing. The goal is to increase the packing service life and to reduce the loss of process fluid. Responsibility. Engineers, mechanics, crafts, trades, etc. are responsible for this task. Safety. It is important to follow the company safety procedures related to the services to be performed. If no safety procedure is provided by the company, then the following steps shall be performed. Familiarize yourself with the safety procedure of the site and understand the potential risks involved. Wear the personal protective equipment designated to the task. At a minimum, the worker shall have available a uniform, helmet, safety shoes, full-view goggles, gloves, ear protectors, escape masks, and safety belts. If the fluid is chemically aggressive, acidic, or caustic, PVC gloves shall be worn. Gather the tools and materials necessary for the job. Spanners or combination wrenches, packing punch, extractors, packing cutter, positioners, expandable pliers, caliper rule, ruler or measuring tape, mirror, flashlight, anti-seize, petroleum jelly, lubricant, duct tape, TEADIT Eco Tape. Prepare the workplace for the installation. A clean environment is essential. Never do the job without proper lighting. Put a sign on the line shutoff valves with the following statement: "Do not open. Equipment under maintenance." Wait for the authorization of the safety team before starting the job. The equipment must be depressurized, drained, and at room temperature. Special note: be aware of environmental hazards, leakage of acidic or caustic substances. Equipment close to low walls, paved areas, or rivers and forests must be carefully inspected. Specification. Check if the packing to be used is the one specified by the company for the application. The packing to be installed in the equipment must be compatible with the service conditions, such as chemical and mechanical resistance, temperature, pressure, and peripheral speed, when applicable. Everything checked? Let's move on. Now let us talk about packing in rotating equipment. Unpacking rotating equipment. Check if the drains are open and the supply, relief, and seal water valves are closed. Label the equipment according to the regulations of the company. Make sure there is no electrical power to the equipment. Place a label lock and a padlock on the switch. Lock out, tag out. Remove the gland follower. Check the condition. Replace components if necessary. Remove all used packing rings, including the lantern ring utilizing packing punches and extractors. Clean and check the stuffing box and the stem or sleeve so that the surfaces are flat and with no wear. The maximum roughness must be within standard tolerances, 32 microinches or 0.8 micrometers. Clean and check studs and nuts, replacing them if necessary. Now let's go to the packing stage. Packing rotating equipment. It's very important to follow all packing installation steps as follows. Check if the stem is centered in relation to the stuffing box. Check the existing clearances in relation to the equipment design. If the existing clearance between the bottom of the stuffing box and the stem or sleeve is excessive, or the fluid to be sealed is abrasive, place a ring of PTFE with thickness of 1/8 of an inch in the bottom. Use up to 3 rings. There must be no excessive clearance between the PTFE bottom rings and the stem or sleeve. Check if the seal ring is worn and replace if necessary. Check the sealing water system. Correct it if necessary. Check the correct size of the packing with the formula: stuffing box diameter minus stem diameter divided by 2. Calculate the number of packing rings and check the lantern ring position. Assembly without lantern ring, rotating equipment, stuffing box depth divided by packing cross section. Assembly with lantern ring, rotating equipment. Consider the number of packing rings in the bottom of the box. Use the following formula: value A minus B divided by packing cross section. Number of packing rings after the lantern ring. Use the following formula: value B minus C divided by packing cross section. To determine the length of the packing ring, use the following formulas. For equipment using packing sizes up to a ½ inch, L equals 1.3 times S plus D times 3.14. For equipment using packing sizes over a ½ inch, L equals 1.3 times S plus D times 3.14 plus S, where L equals length of the ring, S equals packing cross-section, D equals stem diameter. Wrap PTFE thread sealant tape at the ends of the packing, where the cut is going to be, so that the fibers on the ends do not open up. If the temperature in the stuffing box is greater than 200 degrees Celsius, use TEADIT Eco Tape. If this tape is not available, use duct tape. Cut the rings using a cutting device at 45 degrees or at 90 degrees. Be careful not to cut your hands with the knife or the cutting device. Lubricate the rings one by one. Important: never use grease to lubricate the rings. Always use a lubricant compatible with the packing and the application. Example: mineral oil, petroleum jelly, or silicone. With the help of a packing positioner, a double sleeve, or using the gland follower, push the packing rings one by one to the bottom of the stuffing box. Install the packing rings so that the rings cuts are staggered every 90 degrees to each other. The final ring installed in the stuffing box shall always have its amendment down, preventing the rotation of the stem forming a jet with the dripping. Lubricate studs and nuts with an appropriate lubricant according to the service conditions. Place the lantern ring correctly by measuring or counting the number of packing rings to the site of the injection hole, so that the opening of the ring matches the injection hole. After installing the last ring, alternately tighten the gland nuts until achieving a high tightening resistance. If the equipment in question is a pump or a high-speed peripheral equipment, loosen the gland nuts, retighten them immediately until achieving a low tightening resistance. The gland follower must enter the stuffing box at least 1/8 of an inch to ensure that the top ring does not extrude through the clearance between the gland and the stuffing box. Always open the sealant water before accessing the service. Absence of sealant water can cause irreversible damage to the packing. Unlock the equipment, close the drains, open the process valves, remove the lockout tags and labels, release the equipment to the control personnel. After turning the equipment on, if necessary, alternately tighten the nuts a quarter turn at a time until reaching the desired leak level. Repeat all of the steps when the leaking can no longer be controlled by adjusting the stuffing box. Very good! Your rotating equipment has been properly packed. Now we are going to show how to pack a valve. First, it is necessary to unpack the valve. Unpacking valves. Check if the drains are open. Label the valve. Follow the labeling rules of the company. In the case of control valves, turn the drive off. place label and padlock on the switch. Turn the valve wheel counterclockwise so that the valve shall be completely open, placing it against the seal. Alternately loosen the gland nuts, observing if the gland is not being moved along with the nuts. If this phenomenon occurs, immediately retighten the nuts and call the service supervisor, as there may be pressure on the line. If there is no leak, remove the gland follower and verify its conditions, especially with regard to corrosion. Remove all used packing rings with the help of a hydro-pneumatic packing extractor or a manual packing extractor, trying to place it close to the ring cots, facilitating the removal of the tip of the packing, which may then be taken out more easily with pliers. Be careful not to scratch the valve stem in this operation. Clean and check the stuffing box and the stem so that the surface is smooth with no wear. The maximum roughness shall be within tolerance. Clean and check the studs and nuts. Replace them if necessary. Everything is fine? Let's move to the packing. Remember, before you start installing the packing, it is important to perform the following steps. Valve packing. Check the concentricity of the stem with respect to the stuffing box. Check the existing clearances using recommended radial clearance. Recommended number of packing rings: 5 rings. If the existing clearance between the bottom of the box and the stem is above 1/16 of an inch, it's recommended to use a metal ring that has the following characteristics. Inner diameter, equal to the diameter of the stem plus 1/16 of an inch. External diameter, equal to the inner diameter of the stuffing box minus 4/1000ths of an inch. Thickness, use 1/8 inch. The ring may be 1-piece or 2-piece. Lubricate studs and nuts with an appropriate lubricant adequate to the operational conditions. All studs must be of the same material according to the specification of the equipment manufacturer. In the event of a continuing existence of an irregularity that damages the sealing of the packing, notify the service supervisor and communicate the occurrence in writing. In the case of interruption of the service due to an emergency situation, make a mark on the valve wheel and communicate this in writing immediately to the service supervisor and to the supervisor of the area. Check the correct packing cross-section using the formula: stuffing box diameter minus stem diameter divided by 2. Determine the quantity of rings by the formula: stuffing box depth divided by packing cross-section. If the stuffing box depth is more than 6 rings, it is recommended to use a bushing, as recommended by the API 621. Number of packing rings on valves. Recommended 5 rings. Maximum 6 rings. Grab PTFE thread sealant tape, such as TEADIT Eco Tape, where the cut will be made, so that the fibers do not open up. Cut the rings with the help of a cutting device at 45 degrees. All rings must have the correct length, with the ends as perfect as possible. Determine the length of the ring by the formula L equals 1.3 times S plus D times 3.14, where L equals length of the ring, S equals packing cross-section, D equals stem diameter. Be careful not to cut your hands with a knife or a cutting device. Lubricate the packing rings with petroleum jelly or silicone. Never use grease due to its soap content. This will make it very difficult during the removal of the packing. With the help of a packing positioner, double sleeve, or gland follower, push one ring at a time to the bottom of the packing box. Never install more than one ring at a time. Install the packing rings so that the ends are staggered every 90 degrees. After installing the last ring, alternately tighten the gland nuts with a torque wrench until the specified torque is reached. The gland follower must enter in the stuffing box at least 1/8 of an inch to prevent the last ring from extruding through the clearance between the gland and the stuffing box. However, the gland follower should not penetrate the stuffing box by more than 1 packing ring. If this occurs, loosen it and check the packing cross-section or bushing length. Open and close the valve 3 times. This is what is called stroking the valve. This will facilitate management of the valve when it is in service. Leave the valve in the same position that it was found. Unlock the line or equipment, removing the lockout tags, and release the equipment to the control personnel. Set packing identification labels, which will allow tracking of the equipment, as well as performance monitoring and planning for future installations. Turn the equipment on. If there is leakage, reapply the installation torque. You have just successfully completed the packing stage. This will ensure the operational continuity, better performance, and durability, besides allowing the improvement of the eco-indicators of your company. Sustainability guaranteed by a qualified professional. Congratulations!